Hello, you're joining me again. Another evening in South Wales, my local hill again, to try out a different tent again. This tent is really interesting. It's, from what I can work out, exceedingly rare. It is the Sierra Designs Solo Assault. It's a 1.5 person tent designed and manufactured and supplied to the Navy SEALs in America. So it's designed to be tough, withstand some harsh conditions, and also be very warm, so suitable for cold weather camping and really all conditions. I've only ever seen one for sale, which I snagged on eBay last year, a long time ago now, and I've never got around to using it. It doesn't have any guy lines, so it's got lots of going out points, but I didn't have any guy lines for it, and never got around to fitting any, ordering any for it. So tonight, weather's quite simple tonight, a little bit of breeze, but I've got a couple of guy lines I can attach if needed, just on one side if there's a bit of a breeze. But I wanted to try it out and show it to you because it is a really interesting tent. Got a few design features that obviously must have been requested by the military, which I'll show you in due course, but I'll give you some of the basic stats which might not make a great amount of sense to you. First few stats, it's a one person tent, or 1.5 person tent, so you and a load of gear, so presumably if you're a Navy SEAL you're going to have a lot of gear, big backpack, big Bergen, weapons, ammo, that kind of stuff, so all that gear safely inside this tent. It is a single layer tent, but not just any oak material. It's a single layer, single skin tent, but it's made from 3-layer event fabric, or certainly the upper part is. The ground sheet is a 70 denier taffeta nylon, so very rugged tent, and the 3-layer event material should give it breathability and good waterproofing performance as well. So apparently it's got like a bit of a feeling inside, like a sort of soft touch material, which is supposed to help reduce condensation, being a single skin tent. It does weigh around 2 kilos, and you might just be able to see it on the outside of my bag. It is not a small tent whatsoever. It's got 3 aluminium poles, so it should be quite a strong tent. And it's got 2 doors, one of which is actually half window material, so you can see outside, acquire some targets, then open the door and snipe them presumably. But obviously won't be doing any of that this evening because I don't have any weapons on me, because this is the UK. Apart from an air rifle, you really can't get any weapons in this country. So I'm quite looking forward to pitching it for the first time and spending the night in it. It's starting to rain now as well, so a few showers might give it an interesting little test, see how good it performs in terms of condensation and general livability, just for a quick camp. If you're wondering about the Jazzy waterproof, and you've watched my recent video on getting bargains off Vinted, this is another one. It's a Jack Wolfskin Pack and Go waterproof. Retails for £140. I got it brand new with tags for £13.69, including delivery. And I love it, it's really good. Back's down small, it's light, and the material, it's got a 30,000 mil hydrotronic head, I think, which is kind of crazy. And the material just incredibly supple and nice, so it doesn't feel like a big, really thick, stiff, chunky Gore-Tex jacket. So I've worn it a few times now on a couple of hikes, just testing the durability to see if I can get it rub wearing a big backpack. But it is properly raining now, and I haven't got any spare clothes really either, so I could do without getting too sopping wet before I get into a tent. And obviously the more moisture I bring into it, the harder it's going to be as a single skin tent to shift that condensation and moisture out of the tent. As I said, for a 1.5 person single skin tent, the pack size is really quite substantial, weighs in about 2 kilogram. Now, I've not really pitched this tent before, so I'm going to give it my best shot. There are some instructions taped to the inside, so that should make things easier. I mean, it's just a free pole construction, should be pretty simple. But I can see in the distance some blue sky, some brighter sky, but also a very big bank of rain cloud. It's raining now as well. I'm getting quite wet, so I'm going to try and pitch it as fast as I can. And the beauty of obviously a single skin tent is that there should be no faffing to get a waterproof tent up as soon as you get the poles in, really. So you can see it's a nice fetching grey material, the same as the bag. It doesn't come with its original pegs, so I've had to get some pegs from my collection for it. And the poles, like a lot of Sierra designs, they are DAC Featherlight NSL green poles in this very fetching kind of bronze colour. So there should be 2 shorter poles and 1 long pole. And the rain is starting to increase nicely. Needless to say, this rain wasn't forecasted. It's supposed to be getting nice this evening, but it's going to be a nice sunrise, so I've chosen a spot where I'm going to get whatever there is of a sunset on one side of the hill and then the sunrise on the other. And I think this feels like the long pole. So you can see the interesting features. It's a pretty terrible pitch in terms of the grass, so it's not pitch well at all. So you can see on this side you've got the small door and the little window panel, and you can see the pole design, but it seems a lot kind of shorter than I think. I just don't think it's pitched very well. I think the ground is so uneven here that it's not done well at all. So if you come around to this side, you can see there's a couple of guying out points, and you can see a kind of porch. So if you had trekking poles or tent poles, you can pull that out and make a high porch. And there's various clips and stuff, because the original sales brochure showed that you could actually connect 2 of these tents. So if you were camping with someone else and you had the same thing, you can face them at each other and have a large sort of covered porch area as well. But I've got my gear inside already because it's obviously raining quite heavy now, so I'm going to have to abandon the video for the time being and get inside as well before I get absolutely soaked, because I haven't got a towel or any spare clothes. But you can see the water beating off really well, and I think the rain is going to pass and it's going to clear up in a minute, so I can come back outside and do a bit more filming and chatting. But yeah, very interesting. I think I need to pitch on a bit of level ground really, and work out what I'm supposed to be doing with it. Just as well I got in the tent, because it is raining quite heavy now, but there's plenty of space in the tent for me to get set up. The only issue is I'm getting everything soaking wet with my wet trousers and stuff. So yeah, this was not forecasted, so yeah, unexpected, but it should clear out in a bit. And yeah, I can not really sit up in the tent either, so I'm kind of bent over doing this, but yeah, it's pretty cool though. So the heavy rain has proved one thing: this tent leaks like a sieve. It's just puddles of water in here already. This main seam above the door, as soon as it started raining a little bit heavy, just drips coming through the seam. And I noticed the seam on the opposite corner as well, on the side of the door, the little door is doing the same, so there's a puddle of water over there, and the seam right the way back behind my head, just pouring water in. So really uneven ground, so as I'm sort of sinking around the different lumps, puddles of water just follow me around. So yeah, I'm really quite damp now, quite wet. Tent is just not remotely waterproof, so I don't know what the solution to that is, because I can't see any obvious holes or tears. It's just water pouring in through the seams, so maybe it needs to be seam sealed again. It could be a reasonably old tent, but I've pitched tents that are like from the late 70s that haven't been seam sealed at all, and I've pitched them in horrendous rain. I've gone camping with rain all night, not only watering grass. I've tested my $9.99 little tent, and that did really well. Had a tiny bit of water coming in through one of the bottom seams after like 12 hours of solid rain. So this has been just by far and away the worst tent I've ever owned for leaks. So not quite sure why. I mean, it looks in good condition and stuff, and it's free layer of vent material, so I don't know why it's leaking like this, but I'm not quite sure what to do. I mean, they give it clearing up and they give it dry all night, so it's just trying to dry out the inside enough to get my sleeping bag and all my gear out to sleeping comfortably. Really frustrating, because it wasn't a cheap tent even used. So yeah, not impressed so far. As it starts to rain again and get more rain starts to pour through the seams. So the water's beaded up very nicely on the material, but it's along this seam it was leaking, so I don't know if maybe the seams need to be resealed or not. An absolutely beautiful evening. Possibly some more showers in the air, but maybe avoiding us now. Hopefully avoiding us now, because I think I'm going to stick it out and stay in the tent. And you can see why I love camping up here, because it's close. And yet beautiful views. So first impressions are mixed. The water's beaten off the material, lovely. But obviously we've got a few issues with the seams, so I'll have to look into whether I can buy some seam sealant for this kind of material and just run a bead along the seams and then try it out with a hose pipe for a bit and see if that cures the issue, or if I just sell it on and just solder seam, just say it's not waterproof and some issues with the seams. But who knows, I'll see how it goes tonight. And I've got a lot of tents. I don't necessarily need this tent, and it's a bit of a curiosity really because of the pack size and the weight. I've got plenty of other tents that I can take for a lot less weight, smaller pack size, that probably have a more comfortable interior space and stuff. But it is really interesting. So yeah, it's got a couple of massive going out points which will tension out a different way and give it a bit more height. So I might put those in a minute just to make it a bit more taut and a bit more upright. So here's a little door, obviously unzips all the way around. It's got a mosquito net behind it as well, and this bit of clear material which you can look through and take in a bit of a view. I think it's designed to your head to be at the other end when you're sleeping, because there's a pocket down. There doesn't appear to be a pocket over here, but it makes sense to me if you had your head end at this end, you'd be able to view out at any point just by leaning over. And again, another going out point here just to give the tent a bit more structure and stability, but the wind has completely died off now. It's a beautiful evening over the valleys, some low cloud, some bit of mist and little bits of cloud in some of the lower valleys as well, just mist hanging around. So yeah, you do feel very high up here. We're about 370 metres here, but views for miles and miles and miles in every direction. The central Brecon Beacon Mountains hidden tonight by a big rain cloud over there at the moment, but it looks like we're now set for the evening of being dry. It's just how much we can get the inner tent, the inside of the tent dried out as well. Yeah, real shame it leaked like that, because it was fairly heavy rain, but obviously the water coming through straight away shows it's not an issue with the material itself. It's something in the seams, either some damage or just worn seams or something. But yeah, really not sure what to do, but I'll show you around the other side of the tent just to finish it off. So the main door is on this side, and this also gives you the sort of porch area as well. But what I might do is just roll it up, because it's really awkward to get them out of. I think ideally on a flatter pitch it wouldn't be quite so bad, but the tensioners don't seem to be done the right way on one side, so I can tighten this one up, but the other one you've got to keep re-pegging it, because the actual tensioner itself is just done wrong, so the tension doesn't hold. But I think I'll probably roll that up and out of the way, because it shouldn't rain anymore now, and I just shove my shoes inside the tent just to be safe anyway. So the door actually clips away with these 3 quite substantial clips. Now this one I've not attached because the actual plastic clip has come unbuckled just for the material, so this mirror just needs to be threaded back through. So I found that spare clip when I was emptying the bag, so I popped it in one of my various pockets or something. I can't find it right now, but at least I know what that's for now. So really big door to get in and out of, so really easy, pretty much almost a full side entry tent. And again, you've got the mosquito net and then the solid material door. So now that there should be no more rain, I'll just keep that open and just get in and out nice and easily. I'm able to get all my stuff in there nice and easily. So I might just try and dry up the interior bit and get my my sleep mat all set up and done, because it is starting to get a bit dark now and it's getting slightly chilly out here. It's going to be about 6 or 7 degrees overnight in the early hours, because it's going to be clear, the moon's already out. So yeah, it is a really unusual tent, obviously designed for Navy SEALs, although the way it leaks at the moment, probably quite good for normal SEALs as well, because you'd be having plenty of water inside the tent. But it is, yeah, very, very random. Never seen another one for sale, so I had to snag it. So whether I'll use it again, whether I'll try and sort the seams out, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully it's interesting to have a look at, because it is really quite different. Now the interesting thing will be how it performs overnight in terms of condensation and stuff, because it will be a real test, because all the grass is soaking wet. Most of the stuff I'm wearing is quite wet. My trousers are soaking. There's a wet bag inside there, and obviously the water from those heavy showers, a fair bit of that came in through a couple of those seams as well. So yeah, I'm going to stick it out. You know, the sleep mat will keep me off the wet ground sheet anyway, and yeah, I should be warm enough. I wish I'd taken a slightly warmer sleeping bag now, but I've got the OEX Thermalite sleeping bag liner as well, which is quite good, so that should boost the warmth a little bit. But yeah, I'll get set up and I'll then show you roughly how it looks in terms of interior space. As it's getting really quite dark, I'll show you the interior in the morning, but there's absolutely plenty of space now. You can see why it's claimed to be a 1.5 person tent, because there's absolutely tons of space for a really wide Cedar Summit Trek 1 sleeping bag, which is the wide version, and my backpack and other gear and stuff, so no issues with space. The height, I was expecting slightly more height, to be honest, but not going to be an issue as well. But it is 10 to 10 now, so that's why it's getting quite dark. So I'm going to, take my contacts out, sort my teeth out and go to bed, and then I'll show you the interior tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll take a traditional time lapse of the sunrise, because I've not done one of those for a very long time, so it wouldn't be a camp video if I didn't at least try to do one if the sun's out. So I will catch up with you in the morning, and hopefully I'll be warm enough, because it is really dropping now. So I'm going to go for a quick jog around the grass before I get back into the sleeping bag, I think. Good morning. This is slightly better. Beautiful sunshine, gentle breeze. But unfortunately I've got to go to work, so
It's 10 to 7, so I better get packed up and head back to the car, go home, have a shower and go to work. Now, the tent, it's a pretty cool little tent. This second window, which I'm talking to you through now, is quite nice just to have that right where I'm sleeping, just open it, have a look out. You can kind of see through the window pane as well, but a bit of condensation inside and outside. Once that's wiped up, you can see through it pretty well. And that's nice to see what's going on outside. And yeah, single skin, you're much more connected with the outside than a double skin tent. Condensation wise, you've got basically the 3-layer material down to here, and then you've got a strip of normal taffeta nylon. So the nylon stuff, yeah, soaking wet with condensation, dripping with it. And that's the kind of bit which you bump into when you're moving around in your sleeping bag. I imagine my foot box is damp, but I'm wearing my Nordis down slipper, so I wouldn't know. But the event material that covers like 90% of the tent, yeah, no condensation on there really, as far as I can tell, despite the outside of the tent being very, very wet. So that material definitely works with a single skin tent, but just obviously the bottom part of nylon does get condensation, as you'd expect. So pretty good performance in general, and I had the tent completely sealed up all night. There is a little vent at each end, but the design's a bit weird. I don't think it's particularly effective. I mean, I could feel a tiny bit of airflow through the tent, but not massive. So I've got to decide what to do with the tent really. I think I might give it a pitch in the garden and give it a hose pipe and just see. I think it's only like maybe 3 or 4 points where there's a little bit of water ingress through the seams. So see if I can buy some kind of seam sealant for this kind of material and just apply a little bit of that to each area and see if that works. But yeah, I don't need the tent, so maybe I will just sell it on now I've used it. But yeah, interesting little tent, but it is pretty heavy. But it's probably really solid given the amount of poles you get for such a small little tent. But yeah, obviously I don't want to try it out in any worse conditions at the moment because it's not fully waterproof. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you want me to do with it. If you want me to take it somewhere else or try and fix it or whatever. If there's anything you want me to do with the tent, want to see more of it and stuff, or if you want to buy it, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm going to get back to work as quick as I can, get back to the car and go to work. It is a beautiful day and probably the only nice day this week, so yeah, tempted just to stay here all day. But anyway, if you made it this far, a huge thanks for watching. Hopefully the tent is reasonably interesting. Yeah, interior space, you can see it pretty much from here. Sleep mat is slipped sideways because I'm on a terrible pitch, but there's masses of room in here. Huge amount of room for my gear down here, and plenty of room for a decent sleeping pad and sleep mat. Internal height's not amazing, but enough to get by, enough to move around a bit and sort of get changed and stuff. But yeah, huge thanks for watching as always, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.